everybody. A couple things. Two of our great events. We have our HCT class coming up, July 19th in Columbus, Ohio, and then November 19th to 21st in Las Vegas as part of the 2019 ISSA show. We also have our Marketing and Sales Success Bootcamp, which is led by Debbie Sardone. That'll be in September in Philadelphia. It's a great program to help your business. We do have an early bird registration price of $325 for members. And just as a teaser, there will be a flash sale coming up, so make sure you check your email. It'll be a great program. So with that, today we have one of our longtime members, great mentors, leader in the industry, Debbie Sardone, here to talk about her program as well as some other topics. So it's all yours.
Great. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much for taking the time to be here today. I promise I will do my best to make it worth your while, because I know everybody's busy. So today we're going to talk about how to speed up your staff and improve quality with systems. And I am telling you, the key to improving quality, speeding up your staff, making more money, having more quality of life as an entrepreneur, the key is tied up in systems. So it is no wonder that I'm going to preach systems today, even around cleaning. Because years ago, I had no idea that cleaning could actually be systemized. And a lot of people still don't know. Training our staff is one of the most important things we do, period. I mean, there's a lot of important things we do, but training is one of those things we have to get it right, or will cost us a lot of money in time, profits, and customer goodwill, and even customer losses. So it's just so important to not treat training as an afterthought. You know, have you thought about the cost? Have you ever put a pen and paper or calculator and thought about the cost of a poorly trained employee? One lost customer, please don't ever forget this, one lost customer is worth $3,000 per year at least, and sometimes more, of course, is worth $3,000 per year. If you lost 2 clients a year, that's $6,000 you lost. And many people lose more than 2 clients a year due to poor training. Just a new person on staff just wasn't trained well, and you lost a couple of clients. So imagine what that looks like. And most of our clients last more than a year, right? So really, most of our clients are worth more than $3,000. A 3-year client will have paid you $9,000. We don't want to lose people if we can prevent it, if we can up level just some of our basic skills, which I'm going to cover today. And think about this. People don't think about this one, but this is on my mind all the time as I teach business owners how to improve their profits and grow their business. One lost employee, right? Whether they quit because they just got a little frustrated because they couldn't figure out how to please you people, or they got fired because you got tired of trying to help them. One lost employee is easily worth $50,000 to $60,000 in revenue sales that they alone could have generated. So my employees are my most important VIP customers in my business, because one well-trained, highly competent employee that is fully optimized and maximized because they know what they're doing and they do it well is easily worth $50,000 to $60,000 a year in revenue, all by their little lonesome. This is why the stakes are so high. This is why employee training is so critical. Getting it wrong is costly. Getting it right is money in your pocket. When I first started out, gosh, a long time ago, 38 years ago, I hate to even admit it. When I first started out, I didn't have a system. And I just knew I liked to clean, period. And I knew that was something I could do. I didn't have a college degree. I got married at 18, had my first baby at 22. And I knew I could clean. I didn't have a system. I didn't have a skill. I didn't have a strategy, but I liked it. And I thought I was pretty good at it. And of course, over the next several years through trial and error and through time and experience, I got good at cleaning. And I cleaned for 8 years and I loved it. And I just got good at it because of time and experience. We don't really have the opportunity to wait for employees to get good at cleaning through the method of time and experience. And many of us, you are like me, you got good at cleaning through time and experience. It was trial and error. But then at age 30, I decided it was time to get out of the field. I didn't want to clean anymore. I'd been cleaning for 8 years. On my 30th birthday, I asked myself, do I still want to be cleaning when I turn 40? And back then, 40 seemed old. It doesn't seem old anymore. But back then, I had to ask myself, do I still want to be cleaning when I'm 40? And the answer, of course, for me was no. And so I started hiring and I started training. And that's when the trouble started because my business was 100% profitable and we had no customer service issues when I was doing all the cleaning. And I had no problems with reliability and dependability because I showed up every day. Because I knew if I didn't show up and clean, I didn't get paid. But everything changed when I decided I wanted to expand. I wanted to put down the mop forever. And I wanted to hire employees and I wanted to leverage my time by managing 10 people instead of managing 10 clients. I wanted to manage 10 people who each had, 15 to 20 clients. And that was when the trouble started, and it started with training. The training did not go well. My trainees were slow. They didn't clean good no matter what I showed them, or they were inconsistent. Sometimes they did well, sometimes they didn't. And it seemed like they didn't do well without my direct supervision. So I struggled to get out of the field for quite a while because once I would step out of the field, it seemed like the quality would decline, and then I'd get threatened by a customer to drop my service, or they would just flat out drop, and I knew the pain of being fired. And so training did not go well because I didn't have a system. My system was, hey, let me show you how I clean. That was my system, and it wasn't smooth, especially when I got that entrepreneurial bug and I wanted to grow. I remember, in fact, I even looked this person up on Facebook last night just to see if they're still around or if they're still alive. But this is like 30 years ago. I had a friend right here in my home, in my town where my business operates. I had a friend, our kids used to carpool, so we took turns driving each other's little kid. So our kids were in elementary school, and she cleaned houses and I cleaned houses. And I was lamenting and complaining to her at how difficult it was to hire and train. And I will never forget what she told me. She said, have you read the speed cleaning book? Now you got to remember, this was before the internet. Okay, so I actually had to order the book out of Parade magazine. I cut out the little order form and I ordered it. And it changed my life. And my friend, her name is Carol Angerstein, and I found her on Facebook. She's still around. And I saw pictures of her little elementary student. I used to drive to school and take turns carpooling. And he's a grown man with wife and kids. So that was kind of cool. I had to look her up. She's still around with such a unique name. I figured I could find her. And so she was the person who recommended that I buy the speed cleaning book. Now, of course, that's the original, the old version that Jeff Campbell wrote. And it changed my life. Why? Is it perfect? Could I have done a better job if I invented it myself? Maybe, maybe not. I didn't have time. What happened was I had a system that I could follow and I could teach. And at first I wasn't a believer. I bought his book, and in the front of his book he says, these are the rules, follow them and don't break them. So I'm kind of a rule follower, and I did. And what I discovered, I bought the apron, I bought the tools. He promised that the cleaning would be better, more consistent, faster, blah, blah, blah. The first week I tried the speed cleaning system, I was actually slower. It was awkward. I wasn't used to the apron. I wasn't used to doing a house the way he said in order, stepping into a room, picking a place, working one trip around the room, top to bottom, left to right. All the 13 rules were very awkward the first week. But I persevered. The second week, I was actually faster. By 30 days, I'd shaved an hour off of every house, and I thought I was fast. That's what I thought. I was wrong. I was fast because of time and experience. But now I was faster because of a system that I was follow. And the reason it changed my life is I now had a system that not only I could follow, but more importantly, I had a system that I could teach and I could expect others to follow. And I could measure whether or not they were following it or not. And I could put a book in their hand, a tangible book that says, read this, follow it. This is our training Bible. And I used that for 25 years. You can go buy a book, a speed cleaning book on Amazon for $1 these days. Even though we sell them, you can buy the used copies for $1, right? So I just needed a system. And that's what I want to emphasize. I was good at cleaning. Your top cleaner might be good at cleaning, but the reason she's never been amazing at training is because she's just good at cleaning because of time and experience. She may or may not be following any kind of a system at all unless you've put one in place. So I basically, at that time, because I really wanted to grow my business, I did not want to be the one out doing the training. I wanted to have something I could hand off, show them for a week, give them the book and expect it. I changed everything. And there were a lot of little things I was customizing that did not fit within the speed cleaning method. And I shifted and I retrained my old clients. And I, of course, created a new standard for brand new clients. And they didn't care as long as the job was done well. I was spending less time in every house. So that meant my average per hour went up. So I instantly made more money. And I followed his systems to a T. And it made my training so much easier. So what am I trying to say here? I'm not trying to sell you the book. I'm telling you, you can go buy it for $1 on Amazon. That's not what I'm trying to do. I didn't own the speed cleaning company up until about 9 years ago, and I have followed it ever since. So for 30 years, it became my training system. What I'm trying to tell you is that when you have a system, and if you find a better one, great, just follow that one. The point is, when you have a system, you have something very specific you can teach people, a step-by-step, do this, then this, do it this way and not that way. When you have a system, you're much more likely to create a more repeatable result. When you don't have a system, you have to rely on time and experience to show you whether or not this person will cut the mustard. And sometimes we cut out a high integrity employee too soon, because they needed a system to teach them how to do this well. And other times we keep the wrong employee, a low integrity employee, because she cleans good, because we're not relying on a system to make sure high integrity employees know how to clean and know how to do it well. So the magical piece about this whole thing, it's like, what's so magical about the speed cleaning system? I think, in my opinion, and this is one of the concepts I teach in business, it's because it's simple and it's not complicated, and that's why it appealed to me. It's simple. It's a book. It's already printed. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to spend months or years creating some kind of a manual that I would complicate, because I'm really good at complicating things. And there's 13 rules. Not 100, not a 200-point checklist. There are 13 rules. I love the simplicity. There's a DVD, there's a book, and there's 13 rules. It doesn't get any simpler than that. And if we don't keep our systems simple, no one will be able to follow them. Now, if you complicate a system, yes, maybe your cleaners will be more perfect than mine. Very possible. I'll argue that. I mean, I won't argue with you on that. Maybe your cleaners will be more perfect than mine. But we have a 4.5-star rating on Google, and I believe 4.5-star rating on Facebook. And it's all about how customers perceive the value. And if they feel like, wow, this is the best cleaning company I've used, who cares that a more complicated system would deliver a more perfect cleaning? Because time is money. And if they stay too long and things aren't organized and you can't duplicate your rock stars through a system, then it's very hard to grow and make a profit and expand. And so I just think part of the magic is the simplicity of the book. And that's probably what the appeal was to me. So the point I'm trying to make is you don't have to go buy the speed cleaning book, but you have to have a system, and it has to be simple so everybody can understand it, and it cannot be complicated. Even if you create your own, it's got to be simple. It has to be something everybody can follow, and it cannot be complicated. So let me give you a few steps to help you, whether you create your own system or you just follow Jeff Campbell's speed cleaning system. And I can't take credit for his system. And trust me, we don't really make money on the books. We really don't. But the whole system is why, I had a training program almost overnight when I didn't know what to do. So step one in having a system, and especially one like this, so I'm going to mirror what my system has evolved to over the years, right? Because my system evolved from the book, but I had to really create a train my trainers system to use the book at its fullest. So step one, follow a system. That's the most important piece. You cannot wing it. It is not a system to say, hey, Gloria, you're really good at cleaning. Can you take the new girl with you this week and show her how to clean? That's not a system. So I don't care if it's mine, I don't care if it's yours. Follow a system, whatever works. Don't wing it. If you want to speed up your staff and improve the quality, that will come from a system. We all have seen employees who speed up as a result of cutting corners. That will hurt your business. You want people to be able to speed up when they clean because they're following a system, not because they're rushing around, because then they'll break things, and not because they're hurrying through the job, because they will cut corners. So that's what a system does for you. It improves the efficiency of the employees, because once they nail the system, then they work methodically through the home instead of breathlessly through the home. So have a system and follow it, and then require it. It's not optional. When you have a system, you're like, no, we do it this way. Yeah, but I like doing it this way. Yeah, I get that, but we don't. We do it this way. So a system is where you have so much confidence that it's the best, most efficient, high quality way to clean a home that you require people follow your system. And that way, they're not achieving speed by cutting corners. And for those of you who put your employees on a commission, like I do, you cannot have them rushing and speeding up because they'll make more money. And speeding up as a result of hurrying. You need them to speed up and be fast because they're efficient and methodical. Systems also need to be well documented. So whether you create your own, make sure you have a manual, you have checklists, you have printouts, you have something they can hold in their hands, take home and study, review at work, whatever. Systems need to be documented. The problem with most training programs is we pick the best cleaner on the staff and we say, hey, can you show her how to clean? There's no documentation. There may be a checklist, but there needs to be documentation. We do this and we do it this way. So you can create a manual, you can create a training workbook. Don't overcomplicate it, don't overthink it, keep it simple, but make sure it's physical and tangible. That's why I snatched up the book, right? It's like, here's a book, follow this, this is what we teach. We expect you to know it, we expect you to follow it. Because I never had time to create manuals. And then you can either make your own training videos, but to make it easier on yourself, have some kind of a DVD or online videos. We use the speed cleaning DVD just because it's easy, but you can do something, especially with YouTube, and you can make your links private, but make some kind of a training DVD or video that you can let your trainees watch. This makes it documented, this makes it tangible, and then create quizzes, which we have with the speed cleaning, because if you don't measure their progress and measure the results, you really don't know if they got it. Now that seems like a lot of work, but it's not. Make it tangible, make it visual, and create quizzes for accountability. In our case, do you know what red juice is? If the answer is no, they did not read the book. So you will have quizzes that show you they read your manual or your workbook. So make it physical and tangible. Systems are structured for efficiency, accuracy, and safety. That's what systems are for. That's why we don't wing it when we try to expand. It should help speed them up without hurrying. It should help them become more consistent instead of hit and miss on a good day or a bad day. And it definitely should help keep the environment safer. And that's what the whole point is. In my particular speed cleaning employee training system, we have daily pass or fail sheets for the trainers. We have a whole section on training the trainer, and we have all these physical tangibles. We even have speed cleaning rules bookmarkers with all 13 rules on them, and you can do contests. If you have like 6 rules to follow, you can put them on a bookmark or a 3x5 card, and you can have a contest who can state the rules and get a prize. But you want to emphasize these things so that people are focused on your system and not focused on, just the result of the cleaning, because the success is in the system. We even have certificates that at the end of the training, we will award the trainee a certificate of achievement. You can make one of these up, or you can go to Office Max and buy certificates. We have them in the speed cleaning system kit, but you can create your own. But some form of recognition, if you do monthly meetings, you can hand out the certificates, call out their name, and everybody in the room claps. What a great way to make them feel a part of your new team, a part of being successful. And it's kind of like, okay, you've graduated. Now we expect you to be able to go out there and do it well. So create these tangibles, and that turns an idea of training into a real system. That turns somebody who's good at cleaning into a real trainer who's following a system that you can measure the performance on. So make it tangible. I can't stress that enough. It's kind of unfair to hold people accountable to be fired or to stay on with your company when nothing is tangible. You don't know if the trainer forgot to tell her, oh, this is what we do, or this is how we do it. You don't know. Once you make it tangible and they are responsible for reading it, going over the checklist that you created, going over the manual you've made, or whatever book you've created, or the videos you've made, once you make it tangible, then they are accountable for their own response to your program. And there really is no question about, well, so-and-so never told me that. Okay, but it's in my book. So make it tangible as quickly as possible. And then step 2 is build in accountability structures. So this is another piece of the puzzle of creating a system. Don't just wing it. So once the person is finished with training, they've got their certificate, they've memorized their 13 speed cleaning rules or your 6 must-do rules or whatever you've created, and they've passed training, maybe with flying colors or maybe on rocky ground, have accountability structures in place. Schedule house checks. Have them clean your home, your office manager's home, your neighbor's house. We call those test houses in my program. But don't just throw them out to the wolves. Have some accountability structures. Make some follow-up calls to the client they just cleaned if you weren't able to go over and do a house check. Hey, just checking, how was everything yesterday? Oh, she missed the top of the fridge? Oh, water spots on the mirror? Oh my goodness, thanks for the feedback, right? If you don't have some accountability structures in place, then it's just the luck of the draw. How's she doing? You're just crossing your fingers and waiting for the phone to not ring with a complaint. So put accountability structures in place. It is incredibly important. We use a link like a review manager link, and you can get this through Quality Driven and some of the other software programs where you can literally text your customer a link asking them to review you. Now, the review is private unless you set the threshold to say, as long as it's a 4 or 5 star review, then it pushes it out and invites them to make it public on Google or Facebook or Yelp or wherever you're trying to get more reviews. And so you can use one of those review manager third-party software programs, which is what we do, and just send a text to your client, say, hey, review us. Because then if the client gives a 1-star or a 2-star or even a 3-star review, it doesn't invite them to post it public. It immediately alerts your office to pick up the phone and deal with this major complaint. So accountability structures are critical. And then number 3, this is so important and it's been missing in our industry. Number three, train the trainer. And this has been a gap in our industry. Okay, so the speed cleaning book and the speed cleaning DVD was a train the cleaner approach. That's what it is, train the cleaner. Here's a book, read it, do better. Here's a DVD, watch it, do better. Hands-on, working with the trainer. Okay, that's a train the cleaner model. And we haven't had a powerful train the trainer emphasis in our industry. And I did create that a couple of years ago in the Speed Cleaning for the Pros employee training system. But the emphasis here is that step 3 of this critical piece of systemizing your training and improving the speed and the quality at the same time, instead of making it a trade-off that if you have speed and you're more profitable, quality tanks. You don't want that. So step 3 is you must train the trainer. And too many people are just saying, hey, Gloria, you're one of my best cleaners. Can you show the new girl how to clean? You haven't trained her how to train. She just knows how to clean. And they are two different animals. And they are two different structures and two different approaches. We literally hold a full day train the trainer meeting here at my office. And this last year, I used to teach it, which is a lot of work. This last year, or it's actually a few months ago, we used the speed cleaning train the trainer DVDs, and I didn't have to teach it. We would just pause in between each workshop and let the trainers in our room. We did a full day training. We just let them give feedback, offer comments, share what they thought about that last workshop on the DVD, and ask their questions. So we would just pause it, and I didn't have to stand up and teach. But we had a whole, I don't know, half a room full of trainers. We probably had 8 or 10 people in here who were applying to be a trainer. I don't know how many, Carla, ended up moving into being trainers, but they were interested in being trainers. So we put them through a full day of Train the Trainer seminar. And here's the thing, don't do that once a year or one time when they first get promoted to a trainer and you never do it again. That's the mistake. I made that mistake in my own business for many, many years, right? So we would train the employee. Maybe they caught everything, maybe they didn't, and there was never any more training, right? And we would train our trainer, right, who got promoted to be a trainer, and then we really wouldn't follow up and reinforce the training. And so we corrected that probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago. And now at least once a year, we probably should do it twice a year, but we don't. At least once a year, we have a Train the Trainers meeting. And the entire meeting is around how to be an amazing trainer. It's not about how to clean good. They already know how to do that. So you need to train your trainers. Have a little checklist, have an agenda, make sure there's plenty of time for comment, questions, and feedback. You'll be amazed at what you will learn from your trainers. You'll be amazed at the challenges that they will raise when you invite them, and all the things they keep to themselves and never share with you because you've never created an environment for the trainers to come together and sit and talk with you or your office manager or whatever. You got to create that environment, and they will open up. They will say things you're like, really? That happens? Okay, we need to address that. Why didn't you tell me before now? Because you never asked. So train the trainer. Ours is a full day of training. Maybe you create a half a day. Maybe it's a 2-hour workshop. I don't care. But you must train your trainer, because being an amazing trainer has nothing to do with being an amazing cleaner. Obviously, you can't have one without the other, but they're not the same. So an amazing trainer is your eyes and ears with this new employee. They need to know as trainers that they need to report issues to you that are maybe very serious concerns, like moral integrity issues that are going to crop up in your business, because trainers are perceived by that new trainee as their peer. And you need to help the trainer understand you're not their peer. In a sense, you're working in a supervisory role. Eventually, you may be peers. Eventually, you may work together in a team or on a first-time clean. But during training, the trainer needs to be taught you're in a supervisory role. That's not your peer. And you're not narking them out or snitching on them like an employee peer. You are representing my company and the office, and I need the trainer to alert me if there are some serious mistakes that I made in hiring that person, because they let down their guard during training if they think they're working with a peer. So teach your trainer how to be a trainer, how to delicately handle criticism, how to gently point out the other person's mistakes, how to be firm when the trainee is 20 years older than the trainer and she's challenging her on the method that she's teaching. If you don't teach the trainer, your best trainers will say, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too uncomfortable. And so make sure you have, number 3, a train the trainer approach. That's how you systemize everything. This is how training is amazing when you become an absentee owner and it doesn't begin to fall by the wayside and decline. This is how training can happen when you're on vacation for 2 weeks and people are showing up and being trained. I'm going to give you real quick before I wrap this up 5 characteristics of the right trainer. And I will tell you, the number one characteristic is not, well, she's our best cleaner. Your best cleaner might be terribly unreliable and completely disloyal. Your best cleaner might be the one with the worst attitude, but the customers love her, and you haven't gotten rid of her because she's so good at cleaning. So the top of my list is not cleaning quality and ability. The 5 characteristics of a good trainer, somebody you would be identifying as a possible candidate to promote to being your trainer. Number 1, and honestly, I put these in order of priority. Number 1, loyalty. A good trainer is loyal to you, loyal to the company. A good trainer does not throw you under the bus every time your back is turned, doesn't criticize the company and badmouth the company to employees and customers. If they are not loyal, don't make them your trainer. They will poison your new employees. Dependability. Oh, but she cleans so good and she's such a good trainer, but man, she calls in sick a lot. Do not pick that person as your trainer. Dependability is the second most important of the 5 character traits, because you will teach the new hires very quickly that you tolerate lots of absenteeism as long as you clean good. And that is the worst way to onboard a brand new employee, is by showing them all of your weaknesses during the first week. I mean, you can work on those weaknesses later, right? Dependability. Trainers who call in sick during the week of training can't be trainers. Now, if it's a one-time weird fluke, they got the flu or an emergency happened, okay, fine, we can deal with that. But you and I both know, we all know who in our company is dependable and who isn't. And then number 3, friendly. A very sullen, hard to be around cleaning tech doesn't make a good trainer, because that trainee needs to feel comfortable. They need to feel a sense of belonging as quickly as possible. And that is part of the stick strategies for new employees. How many times have a new hire, a new trainee, disappeared after 2 days of training? They didn't, some of them obviously used the wrong person. You shouldn't have hired in the first place. But sometimes they just never felt like they belonged. They didn't feel comfortable. They weren't sure they were ever going to get this because it's a hard job. That trainer must be friendly. And that was number 3 in order of priority. Number 4, the trainer needs to be the kind of person who follows instructions, not the kind of person who is constantly doing everything her way. In my company, because we only follow the speed cleaning method, if you don't follow the speed cleaning method, you don't get to be a trainer. Our people work solo. So to be honest with you, if they want to bounce around a room when nobody's home and take longer than they should have and make their job harder, it's kind of not my problem, because they're all on a commission. They work solo. If you want to be a knucklehead, as long as you act nice and the customers love us, I'm probably not going to obsess over you, but you're sure never going to make it as a trainer. You have to be able to follow instructions, because if you follow instructions, you're going to teach those same instructions you follow. If you're constantly making shortcuts in your cleaning day, even if it doesn't catch up with you because you're just fabulous because of time and experience, but if you're constantly changing the way the company wants things done, you'll teach that person, that trainer who doesn't follow instructions, will teach her shortcuts to the trainee, and the trainee will shortcut those shortcuts. So 4th characteristic, they need to be the kind of person that follows instructions. And it doesn't mean you don't have conversations and let them go ahead and bring things to your attention that you're like, why do we do this? It doesn't work anymore. Okay, have a discussion. And if you agree, yeah, we need to change that, then everybody change it. It becomes a part of an amended system that you've created. Years ago, we shifted all kinds of things, tools that we started using. We added microfiber towels years ago. Some of you are like, I never heard of a time when people didn't have microfiber. Well, my business is old enough where all we had were cotton towels. So, but we all came together, we talked about it, and we all shifted. It wasn't, well, this one uses that and this one uses that. This one follows it this way, but that one doesn't wear the apron. No. And then number 5, obviously one of the characteristics of a trainer, quality. So I did put that last because I think most people choose their trainer with that being the top quality and everything else is a hit and miss. Number 5 is more of a given. They shouldn't be working for you in the first place if they can't deliver quality consistently. So it's a given, but obviously it's a requirement. If they're kind of marginal on their quality and about every other month you're asking yourself if you should fire them, then of course they don't qualify. One of the 5 characteristics needs to be quality. So speed that is developed organically with a system does not produce sloppy work. So this is why when your trainers are following a system and teaching it, then when employees begin to speed up, it happens organically, not because they're rushing and just doing a sloppy job. And that's the difference. Some people say, well, speed cleaning is about rushing. Well, that's if you define the word speed as hurry. And that's not the definition of speed. It's efficient. Doesn't mean they're hurrying. I've had lots of employees work for me that were slow as molasses and sloppy as all get out. Slow as molasses and sloppy as all get out. So speed is not the determiner of whether or not they produce quality or not. Usually it's more about integrity and experience. And if they're not following a system, it's going to take them a long time to get enough experience to overcome the quality issues. So with time and reputation, the cleaner becomes efficient organically if they're following a system. And then speed will come through hurrying if they're not following a system and they speed up too soon. So just remember that is so important. Imagine as you think through whether or not you should take the time and the energy to create and implement a system. Okay, because you think, well, I'm so busy and yeah, we are winging it and yeah, it does hurt us sometimes, but I don't have time. If you don't have time to create a system, imagine this, because time is money. If you speed up your team by 1 hour a day, that's not even 1 hour a house. That's 1 hour a day. In a team of 2, that should be 4 jobs. So we're talking only 15 minutes faster on every job. And most people will experience 30 minutes to an hour faster on every job with the system. Imagine if implementing your system, either that you create or you discover elsewhere, improves a team by 1 hour a day. That's 5 hours a week. And if you do pay hourly, that's 5 hours a week of payroll for that one team. Okay, now if you're paying 15 an hour, 5 hours a week, at 15 an hour is $75 in savings in payroll right there. And that's just one team and that's just 1 week. What about 52 weeks? What about a whole year? Now we're looking at $3,900 savings, 1 hour a day. Okay, and again, that's one team. If you have 5 teams, we're looking at about $19,500 in savings in payroll. So when you say, gee, I just don't have time to systemize my training processes, you don't have the money not to, because that 19,000, 5 teams, and we're talking the minimum here, 5 teams, that's $19,000 if you're hourly in payroll costs that were saved. That would have been money in your pocket if that were achieved by improving payroll and it hits your bottom line profit. Now, if you're on commissions, it might simply mean your team speed up to where you could put 1 more job on them every day and they don't work any more time than they used to. They make more money because it's commission. You make more money because you were able to say yes to 1 more client a day. Now we're talking tens of thousands of dollars. So when we say, because I'm guilty of it myself, when we say, I don't have the time or I don't have the money, we're stepping over $1 to pick up a penny. I remember back in the old day, I was very resistant to buying Jeff Campbell's speed cleaning books. So I would go look for them at garage sales. You know, again, this was not online, right? We didn't have stuff online back then. We didn't have Amazon to get it for $1. And so I would look for them at garage sales, and eventually I would find them at used bookstores. And then eventually things shifted online and I would buy them for $2 or $3 online from Amazon. And, you know, I technically was stepping over dollars to save a penny is what I was doing. And I even remember the year when my business was growing so well, and this was a long time ago. Don't tell Jeff this, but I remember I didn't want to spend what he was charging for the aprons at that time. And this was probably 20 years ago. So the aprons were probably $12 or $15. And I was, again, stepping over a dollar to pick up a penny. So I went and bought a whole bunch of nail aprons. I had them embroidered, and my employees hated them. They were too short, they were cheap, they were crappy, and it was the biggest waste of money. I bought a whole bunch. It was awful. And I learned my lesson. I'm like, you know what? Why am I spending all this time and energy to save $2 or $3? And then I, of course, went back to buying the official speed cleaning apron and just biting the bullet, because I reminded myself, how much money do I save by having a system that everybody can follow, that I can just place an order and there it is when I've done some hiring, boom, I have my stuff, instead of me trying to find people to sew my aprons. And I'm not saying don't do that. You might be an amazing seamstress. You can make an apron. You can create these things. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying do something, and don't just step over a dollar to save yourself a penny. For me, that looked like just buy the aprons, buy the book. I used to check the book out. So I'd pay $2 or $3 and buy a used book, and then I'd do like the library card system and check it out. And I thought, how cheap am I being? Now the books are like $10. It's like, give them the stinking book and let them keep it, because I'm going to hold them accountable for the stuff that's in it, right? Print your stuff and give it to them. Give it to them. And I eventually figured out I'm really overthinking this. I'm making everything harder for myself. And when the books came back, they were all stained and grungy. And then I'd hand that book to a new trainee. What kind of an impression was I making? So I made a lot of mistakes you don't have to make. My point is, don't make the mistake of thinking you're saving yourself maybe $20 when it's costing you thousands in lost productivity and not having a system. And so always look at your business through the lens of time and money. These are real numbers and they are important. They're not made up. These are minimal examples of the improvements you can make by adding a system in the training process. And everything I've described today is actually relatively simple. Now I have a much more comprehensive program in the speed cleaning system, but what I've described today is very simple. And if you do nothing but the things we talked about today and nothing else, I promise you, you will improve your training almost overnight. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Don't complicate it. Don't make it hard. I remember one year I calculated, it's only about 2 or 3 years ago, I calculated the cost of just adding one trainee. By the time I paid for my advertisement, the equipment that gets kind of dirty, or the tools that you can't really reuse, like rubber gloves and things that get kind of icky, the training pay, the trainer's bonus pay, the background checks, all the stuff I put into onboarding one employee was easily $691. So I'm sure now it's up over 700. And that wasn't any other cost. That was just all the costs of us associated with onboarding one trainee. And if one trainee doesn't make it through training because our training program is weak or ineffective or non-existent, I'm wasting $695 all over the place, $91. So, what does it cost you to onboard one new trainee? You want to get it right. We also train in 1 week flat. I hear about people that need 2, 3, 4 weeks to train. Why? Because you're not following a system, one that you've approved or created. You must follow a system, a good, proven system. You can train someone in 1 week. Now, you monitor them for 2 to 3 weeks. Trust me, we keep a hawk eye on them during their first month. So obviously there's a lot more I could say on this, but I truly believe with a 30, 45-minute opportunity to share with you the highlights of how to speed up your staff and improve quality, you have enough information right here in this 40 minutes or so to go back and do some implementing. You don't have to buy a thing. You just have to commit to following a system, having a system and following it. The first step is committing. The first step is admitting, right? Like they say in AA, the first step is admitting. The first step is admitting that you have a problem and that you haven't solved it yet, that you're still winging it with the training. And if you now have 5, 10, 15, 20 employees and you're still winging it, you are hurting yourself. So the first step is make a commitment that I will systemize my training, or we will follow an authorized system of training that I believe in. And once you commit, then you'll pursue. And once you pursue, then you will implement. And once you implement, you'll see the dollars show up, whether it's money saved, time saved, new clients being able to be added, or all of it. You'll see the tangible benefits. Now, I have speed cleaning DVDs, books, all in both English and Spanish. If you want to just make it easy, make it a shortcut. It's like $99 for the book, the quiz, and the DVD. I mean, it just doesn't get any cheaper than that. If you want the book for free, I will give it to you for free, because I just want you to have something to follow, maybe while you're on your journey of making the more perfect system. So if you want the book for free, you can go to speedcleaning.com/free book. And then there's some discounts back behind that if you decide you want to go beyond the free book and get some stuff really cheap. But you can have the free book, download it, start reading it yourself, and make sure you're comfortable with it, or pursue something else. But get the book for free as a starter if you've never read it, and let it transform your training with your employees. So I think they've asked me to leave at least 10 or 15 minutes for questions. That's really all I have, Jeff. I'm hoping that was helpful. And if you guys couldn't write as fast as I talk, I'm sure Jeff will give you the replay, and then you can stop and pause and take better notes. And I will be happy to send anybody my talking point notes if you send me an email. Actually, send it to Audrey at DebbieSardone.com, and it's Audrey with an E-Y, A-U-D-R-E-Y at DebbieSardone.com, and put in there speed cleaning notes. And then she'll get these from me. I'll be happy to share them with you if this helps guide you a little better. And then if you want that free book, speedcleaning.com/free book. And you can have it for free. There's no strings attached. I'm not going to ask you to pay $25 in shipping. It's an ebook, so it's yours for free. Jeff, should we open it up for questions?
Yes, yes. Does anyone have any questions? You can raise your hand, use the question box if you're online. Certainly send me an email as well at jeff@issa.com, or use the chat box.
Awesome.
I know there's a lot of.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I know there's a lot of questions. I know there's a lot of information. Like Debbie said, I'll send out a link to the recording afterwards. So if you want to re-listen to it, you can take it at a slower pace.
And I'm also happy to have comments or feedback. If you don't have a question, but you do want to share a comment or feedback, just type it in. Jeff can read it so everyone can hear it. While we're waiting for people to post a question, maybe you're typing away. And some people might be asking, well, who is this lady and how do we know this stuff works? My business does $1.5 million. So we have over 45 employees. And my business has been a self-running business for over 10 years. And what that lets literally, I do not come in and work in this company ever. I don't pick up the phones. I don't cover for my office manager when she's on vacation for 2 weeks. And that only happens through systems. And one of the hardest pieces to systemize was my training back in the day when I was here every day. So 100% absentee owner. I don't work in the business ever. And I've been doing that for 10 years. We do $1.5 million, 45 employees. We do know a thing or two about training, because if we don't get that right, with 45 people out cleaning, we're in trouble. And our online reviews reflect that we do a great job. Are we perfect? No. We just had a staff meeting today with my admin team. We're not perfect. We make a lot of mistakes, but we do enough things right that I get to have a self-running business. I get to go do other things like Cleaning for a Reason and speak for ARCSI and serve on the board of ISSA charities and run my full-time consulting business. If things weren't automated and systemized, I couldn't do that. I'd have to be here, which is where I'm at today at the office, helping out. So the systems are where the freedom is. The systems and the structures is where you get the freedom. And of course, the growth and the profitability. So Jeff, have any questions come through yet?
We have a few things from Ada. That's excellent presentation. Thank you. Could I get Debbie's email address again?
Okay, so if you just want to ask me a personal question, DebbieSardone@gmail.com. It will probably land in my box trapper spam folder kind of thing, and it might sit there for days. So I urge you to send your questions directly to Audrey, because she's on it like a lightning bug. So Audrey@DebbieSardone.com. is the best way to get answered quickly. I'm not so great. She'll get it to me though. She'll forward it to me and say, Debbie, pay attention.
And then from George, is the Speedy Clean DV good for Train the Trainer, or is it different?
The speed cleaning DVD is the train the cleaner piece. And that's really all I had for many years. It's the train the cleaner. So it's the $99 kit with the book, the DVD, and the quiz. If you want the full blown, basically it's a 2-day training event that's been edited, recorded, and you can actually use the train the trainer section to train your trainers. That's a whole different story. It retails for $19.97, so it's almost $2,000. It's worth every penny, and I usually offer it for half off. And there is an offer to get it really at the deepest discount I've ever offered it. If you do the free book, then it will take you to an opportunity to buy it if you want. But I don't want to push a sale on here today, but I want you to see it in case it's something that will solve your problem. Thank you for asking that. But that is what that is, that program, because it is comprehensive, is train the owner. So we as owners need to fix our mindset. It trains the owner, shares proprietary secrets you don't share with your staff. Then it trains the trainer, so you can let them watch that and you don't have to worry that I'm saying anything you don't want them to hear. And then of course the last piece, you get the English and the Spanish versions of both the book and the DVD on Train the Cleaner. So it is a comprehensive package, and it comes with employee certificates that are already printed for you. You can run them through your inkjet or handwrite them if you have good handwriting with a Sharpie. It comes with the 13 rules bookmarkers. It comes with Train the Trainer workbook, Train the Owner workbook. I mean, it just comes with a lot of stuff. But you may not need that. Some of you on this call, that's more than you need at this stage. You just need to follow the things that I taught today. But for others of you, if you're more advanced and ready to grow faster, it might be a huge solution for you.
They both say thank you.
Oh, good. You're welcome. Well, the secret is behind that free offer, so speedcleaning.com/free book, it will take you to a place that is not advertised anywhere. And I just did this for this call. And it gives my system, I'm going to say it's about 70% off. And you will not find it on sale at that price anywhere. But I thought I'm going to do that for my RC members and just see if a few people take advantage of it, because it's a great program. So at least go get your free book, see the offer, and decide if this is what you want.
All right, we have another question from TJ. He asks, how would you recommend someone get a handle on their average cleaning times per room and per square footage range so that they're not just guessing with each home? Part of training is giving them a time frame to work within.
Yes. So TJ, thank you. That's a great question. I personally wouldn't look at it as a per room thing. I would look at it as an entire house thing. And I really think that's important. So one of the rules of thumb on a maintenance clean, and this does not apply with a first time clean because you know conditions vary dramatically with a first time clean, but this is really talking about 85% of what we do in the residential space is we're cleaning recurrings, our weekly and our biweekly clients, and maybe some monthlies. And so this principle applies beautifully with a maintenance clean, so a weekly or biweekly client. We basically give them a budgeted amount of time for every house. Never give a range unless you charge hourly, and nobody charges hourly for maintenance cleans. You give your clients a flat rate, right? So you give your client a flat rate of, let's say, $150. And if she's biweekly, she's $150. You should have an idea, a budgeted amount of time that you assign to that house, and it's not a range. You don't say, oh, and that should take you 3 to 4 hours. You should say, this is a 3.5 hour house, period. And so a team of 2, obviously their goal is to do it in 1 hour and 45 minutes, or a team of 1 is going to do it in 1 hour. So give a budgeted amount of time for the whole job, and then teach them a method of cleaning so they can manage their time themselves in each room, because every house is different, right? You could have a 3,500 square foot house and your fee is, let's say you're $50 an hour. And so let's say you have a 2,500 square foot house you think it's a 3-hour biweekly job, and I don't care if it's a team of 2, so that's fine, that's an hour and a half, or a team of 1, that's 3 hours, or a team of 3, it's 1 hour. But let's say you've deemed it budgeted 3 hours. And let's say it's up to 3,000 square feet. Maybe it's 25 to 2,700 square feet. You say it's 3 hours, but they could go into another 3-hour house. It's same square footage, same price, $150. Maybe it's the neighbor, same kind of house, but one house is a wreck. The other house is pretty clean. And if you're not going to go up on the rates on the one that's a wreck, they will learn how to manage their time. So the person who's cleaning that house that's a wreck, they'll probably spend a little more time tidying and not as much time detail cleaning. And of course, these are things you work out in the estimate and you put the details in the work order. But my philosophy is you give the house a budgeted time, not a room. Because in one master bathroom, it might be able to be done in 30 minutes. Another master bathroom might be a disaster and it takes 45. And so I like to budget the time for the whole house. I hope that helps.
Yeah, and then we have Tiffany. She is trying to purchase speed cleaning on the website for $49, but the site will not take payment in test mode. She wants to know how to purchase.
Oh, darn it. I wonder what I did wrong. Interesting. Okay, so Tiffany, as long as you entered your information, of course I will honor that. I'll figure it out and give us 24 hours and try it again. Or we'll just send you a coupon code so that you can get it for that price, because you can't find it for that price anywhere. If you go straight to the clean team, you'll pay full price. So I will either email you a coupon code that I'll get Audrey to create on the fly, and that way you can use it. I will see if all of your contact information worked. So again, like I told you, I just did that for the ARCSI call. Clearly I did it wrong. I didn't take it out of test mold, and I don't even know how to do that. So I'll find out, and Tiffany will honor that for you. So don't worry. Sorry about that. And anybody else that has that trouble, just make sure you email me or Audrey and let us know so we can honor those prices for you, because that'll probably come down in about 72 hours.
Okay. TJ says, okay, that makes sense. And I just thought I might be looking at it wrong. Thanks, Debbie. So
You are so welcome.
all right. Well, I have about 2 o'clock here, and it looks like we don't have any more questions. So again, thank you, Debbie, for doing this today. I know a lot of great information, and as I told everybody, we will have it up on the site, or I'll have a link out to everybody in the very near future. Hopefully,
Can I say a couple of words about the upcoming marketing and sales training event coming up in Philadelphia with ARCSI?
Yes, I have it up on the screen for people too. Perfect.
Okay, great. I really, really want to emphasize the importance of that, because imagine if you improve your training processes and now you need more customers, because you don't make more money until you add more customers. And once you solve many of your training problems, you'll discover your employees are sticking longer, they're doing a better job, and you can start taking on more clients. And there's nothing more frustrating than to wish your phone was ringing with new business. It's basically new money coming in your bank. So come to that sales and marketing training. We're doing 2.5 days of training. They've priced it incredibly, in my opinion, very well, very aggressively, so that just about anybody can afford to come. And let me show you some unbelievable strategies that I have used, current cutting edge strategies to make your phone ring with hot leads. And to me, a hot lead is somebody who's ready to buy and isn't overly price sensitive. The world is filled with cheap, crummy leads. You know, anybody will call you up and try to hire you for 20, 25 an hour. But I'm talking about hot leads where you can get market value for your area of the country. And for some people, that's 45, 50, 55 an hour per labor hour. For others, like one of my students, yesterday I talked to her, she's getting 65 per labor hour. That doesn't happen without a marketing strategy that appeals to the top tier clients. And that's who we want to work with. A top tier client pays top dollar, is loyal, and uses you continually instead of once. So guys, register during that super early bird special that Jeff was mentioning and come see me in Philadelphia. We are going to talk about marketing, making more money, and closing the sales at top dollar in September 9th through 11th.
Well, thank you again, Debbie. And just as an additive incentive, we are going to just create a promo code for those people on the call, $50 off the early bird registration, so that will make it $275. If you are a non-member on this call, if you register, you get your membership included. You get a free year's worth of membership. So,
Ooh, that's
again,
awesome.
yep. Again, thank you, Debbie, and thank you for everyone for being on Hot Topic Tuesday. And we'll talk to everybody next week.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.